Yo, what up? Welcome to season 3, episode 1 of the Commanders Draft Show. This is our third year doing. We're extremely excited for coming back. But before we get started, I want to do a little tribute to who is my favorite player that ever wore the burgundy and gold, and Trey Johnson. We've heard just sometime today of his passing, and he was absolutely one of my favorite players. If you look at my profile, you see him up there first. I could just remember him playing when I was in school. When I was playing offensive guard, I always wanted to be Trey Johnson. I even wanted to wear dreads and wear that number 77. But not only that, for some reason, he just put me on a path of wanting to understanding the game of football more because he did everything with precision and he did everything with technique. Being like over 330 pounds, moving the way that he moved with quickness. He was light on his feet, and that's something that I never really seen before. Because I just really started getting into football. And he was one of those guys that was my hero interview. You ever have a hero that really don't know that they are a hero to you, or someone that just not looked upon as a hero? He was my hero without him even knowing it, because for him, he helped start this path where I am on now, talking about sports as much as I do and loving the game of football as much as I do. And he was my hero interview that I never got to have. I always tried, always reached out, but nothing really panned out. We could never kind of mesh and make things work out. But he was my hero interview. And a lot of times you ever get the opportunity to meet your hero. Some people say you don't want to meet your hero. But I absolutely did want to meet my hero. And all I hear is good things about him. So I really just wanted to do this because when I heard the news, it really kind of hit me. And it really kind of hit my heart for him to do that, because he meant so much to me. He's absolutely my favorite player that's ever wore the burgundy and gold, because it wasn't just about football with him. It was always more. So I wanted to do that for him. And also I'm going to do a little article this week about the interview that I never got to get, which is going to be talking about my I don't even, I want to call it like my shadow hero and Trey Johnson. When I got the news, it really kind of hit. But we're back. Today we're going to be talking about quarterbacks. Yes, we do have Jaden Daniels. Yes, but we also don't have a backup quarterback. We do have a backup model, but I don't know if that's going to count or not. Also a kicker. Moody did all right, but he also missed a couple. So we're going to look at some kickers. I'm always about that kicker in the 7th round. We also going to look at a center. Tyler Biada, I think it's 28 going on 29. It's time for us to kind of look at those guys at the back half of the draft if someone is worth drafting to kind of get in the building to develop. So those are the 3 position groups we're going to talk about today on the Commanders Draft Show. We also going to talk about holes, like what type of holes, where are the position holes? Is depth considered a position hole? It's so much for us to talk about, which we're going to talk about today. On the other side of this, season 3 of the Commanders Draft Show. Yo, we are back. DT, Cal, Smoke. Can you hear me, Smoke?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
We locked and loaded. Cal,
Yes,
we locked and loaded, Cal.
We're absolutely locked and loaded, dude. Season 3. Cannot wait to get this going, man. We've had some hits over the past 3 years, and hopefully we can keep that going.
DT, one of our biggest, what we thought was going to be a hit, haven't panned out. We're going to get into that when we get into that position group. And that's our guy, Ben Sennett, who just didn't pan out yet. Right? That's some of the things that we're going to talk about. DT, you locked and loaded, baby.
Yes, sir. I am 1,043 slides and counting of a lot of NFL prospects.
We got a lot of information. Like somebody on this panel kept sending different players every 15 minutes because they can't get enough of it. And they kept sending, I said, listen, pick 2 players and that's it. Stop sending prospects, right? Stop sending prospects. But let's go to the person that I will not name. Give me a quick season recap, Smoke.
I like how you did that there. Hey, man, quick season recap. Didn't go as expected, man. 5-12 season. Didn't expect not to have my quarterback for majority of the season. Didn't expect to be, leading the league in injured starters for the majority of the season. Just didn't go as planned as what we witnessed in 24. But guess what, man? That's what we're here for, to build this thing right, to build it back up. And I know some people say it starts with free agency, but to get the core of your team, it starts with the draft. And that's what we
Season recap, Cal.
That's probably the simplest expression for this season. 2024. I like to say this. 2024 showcased our strengths as a team, and 2025 really shed light and highlighted our weaknesses, and that revolved around our depth on the team. And Smoke kind of highlighted it with the injuries, and that was on full display for everyone to see. But that's in the rearview mirror. We're here to get better. And obviously, after the way last season went, that's the only way we can go, because it can't get much. I would hope it can't get much worse than that.
I don't know, DT. Can it get much worse? Because I tell you one thing: if it does get much worse, yeah, DT recap.
I mean, like, just being completely honest, y'all. Like, we did not expect the season that we expected. We from being at the brisk of the NFC Championship game to literally majority of our starters being out, including our starting quarterback, our wide receiver core with Terry McLaurin, he missing games after he got a contract extension. The defense, I don't even want to get into all of the defense, but
yeah.
More of the story is, man, we did not really expect a lot of this stuff to happen, but we already knew there were certain spots on this team that we still had some questions about, especially with the player evaluation the past couple of years. But now I think we're starting to see a lot of the fan base starting to see, like the ugly rear end about between recalibration and rebuilding, as Adam Peters and Dan Quill both quoted in their initial press conferences.
This season, man, like I don't even care. Mitch, what's good, Mitch? Appreciate you for tapping in, buddy. What's up, Mitch? Rob is in the building. Meow, Kitty is in the building. What's good? Don't start that. Don't damage my algorithm.
It's wild.
The
First
nonsense.
night is crazy.
It's 9 o'clock at night, man.
Oh my goodness, already, man. But let's get right into it. So I'm gonna go to you, Kyle. When we talk about position holes, a lot of times if you just say that word, we're automatically thinking the top 22, right? Offense, defense, the starters. That's what we think about. But how deep is it really when we talk about position holes?
Oh, it goes down. Obviously, you have the 53 that you make up your entire team. But you can see that there are glaring holes around the team, not only at edge, given with the injuries that happened there, but you could also make an argument for safety. You can make an argument for corner as well. When Marshawn Lattimore went out, then Trey Amos, that was really on full display. We did have some spotlights from a handful of guys in that sort of place, but you saw when Jonathan Jones came back, we were still needing to see more. The offensive line, for the most part, held their own. But Badass himself, being at center, was playing banged up. And you could kind of tell in his play, which is what we're going to highlight in centers here. But you still need backups on the offensive line that you could feel good about. We didn't have Sam Crosby at the beginning of last season. And you can obviously see that's something that is an area of importance. You can make an argument for linebacker, but we're going to get into this with the new defensive coordinator on what he wants to deploy. Does he want to do a 4-3 based on what he has in the cupboard at the moment? Or is he going to want to switch to, the 3-4 where you're going to need linebackers and ones that can rush the passer? And obviously Washington is set up for that right now. But you could make the argument, is Washington really in a position to succeed at the linebacker position, given with Bobby not his uncertainty on this football team? You got Jordan McGee. You got Frankie Louvu. You got Kane Medrano. But is that enough? And I think that there's a lot to be desired still.
Smoker, how important is the depth when we talk about position holes?
It's very important. We literally saw it this season. Injuries started piling up as early as week 2. You know what I mean? Stick to the defensive side of the ball. I know that's where we're not at today, but you lose edges starting week 2. Week 7, you lose another edge, your premier edge, which is endurance. And to lose a guy like James Baptiste early in the season, that's hindering depth and stuff like that. It's huge, man. I know some people say, "Hey, y'all the oldest team," but it seems like a lot of the older players didn't see the injury bug. They fought through it. They played the whole season. You know what I mean? I.e. Von Miller, i.e. Bobby Wagner. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, hey, man, I think it's very important to have good quality depth in any position because you can never know, man. We witnessed it this year. So I think you gotta have depth. And it starts, you know what I mean? Yes, it starts in free agency, but at the same time, you want that young depth. You want that athleticism, the guys that's gonna show, like, you know what I mean? They belong in this league and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's very important.
What about you, DT?
I mean, like, just being completely transparent, you better have some depth in today's NFL when the NFL is literally considering adding more games to the schedule. We're already at 18. Then you're traveling internationally. Then you're playing all these primetime games on very short weeks. Then you're playing Christmas Day on Wednesday after you played on a Sunday. Like, that's absolutely insane. But all that to say is the depth on this team has been a very question mark when we talked about it last offseason, particularly at certain spots that we didn't really have the guy. We still don't have the guy at edge rusher. Linebacker core, yes, we have Wagner and Luvu, but it was definitely uh, a regression this year from their play. And we obviously see the middle of the field is always going to be attacked when those two guys are out there. Cornerback room, Marshawn Lattimore. Unfortunately, that trade did not work out. Trey Amos, he's a budding star. We just need to see more from him. Unfortunately, the injuries kind of took him in and out of the lineup. Mikey Sanders still regress. Again, we need to see where we're going to put him at. And the safety room is possibly in question. You know, after Quan Martin one good year, then the next year he did not play up to par. Will Harris, they signed him for a 2-year deal. He didn't really play much. So just that's just the defense. When we're talking about offense, though, you know, you're talking about the running back room. They traded Brian Robinson. You got Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. You got McNichols. You got Chris Rodriguez. It was a solid trio, but you still need the guy at running back. Wide receiver room, Terry just needs a guy on the outside with him, whether it's inside or outside. Tight end room, Zach Ertz been holding the fort, but are they going to get one of these free agents, or are they going to get one of these drafted tight ends? That would have been an experiment. So that's just to note some of the spots on this team already that we have questions about. But it's definitely important when you're in the NFC East playing against the Cowboys, Giants, and the Eagles. It is important when you're playing in the NFC, playing against the Seahawks, 49ers, Rams. That's just AFC West, by the way.
Two new coordinators, two rookie coordinators, two rookie play caller coordinators, especially in the NFL level. I mean, we got one guy that all of us that coach, we might have more experience actually just coaching football than what he has, even though I know 2 NFL years trumps probably everything that we have, but even still, right? It's not like he coached in college or high school. I mean, I checked all the way down to Pop Warner, right? And he's never coached, but that's not an anomaly from this coaching cycle because there are a few coaches on QB coach coordinators that got those opportunities, not having a lot or extensive experience for those roles. So we come right back to you, Smoke. When we think about these coordinators, how do those coordinators, or will they, just from the press conferences we hear and the interviews, what type of impact will they have on the draft?
I think a big part. I think they're gonna play a big part. Like they made a change for a reason, offensively and defensively. I think they have a vision collectively, but it's the element of surprise as well. We saw in 24, you know what I mean, the element of surprise. No one knew what to expect. I think they're screaming, like offensively, they're screaming at the mountaintop, this whole under center, get under center, get under center. Who knows? That could be a smoke screen. But when it comes to them, you know, assessing talent, what they see would be best offensively, what they see best defensively, coming from, you know, the new coordinators, Miles, I think it's going to play pivotal into, you know, who we attack early as far as March 9th. You know what I mean? Tampering period starts March 9th. You can start signing free agents on March 11th. So I think they're going to play a pivotal role into how this roster looks moving forward. I think we get, and I think it'll be, you know, what I mean, even if it comes down to the length of a contract, Blau and Jones may speak up and say, "Hey, man, nah, give me my guy for 2 or 3 years instead of 1 year." You know, what I mean, Adam Peter's been on this 1 year train, and it's like we're recycling 60+% of the roster for the first 2 years. Like, nah, let's start to create that foundation, having some stability in this building and stuff like that. And I think the sky's the limit. So important is going to have a huge role.
DT, let's go back to you, man. On the defensive side of the ball, a lot of us is looking at Durante Jones as if he is like the heir apparent to the guy everybody wanted on the defensive side of the ball. And Brian Flores, what type of impact do you think he'll have? Because, like Ron said, look, you have, I say Ron, well, hey, whatever. Like Dan said, you have full autonomy of the defense. It's going to be his defense. He's going to decide on which players fit his scheme. Do you think he'll have a bigger impact on the roster than someone like David Blau?
Well, for one, I think when we look at that situation right there, you know, you mentioned earlier about the coaching experience. The one thing that Jones has over Blau right now is actual play calling experiences from, you know, the D2 level and the Power 4 level. He called plays at Bowie State during their years of run in the CIAA, and he has called at least 1 year at Louisiana State University in 2021. So he has that experience already of play call. He has that feel of prepping game plans. He has that preparation process already. He's been around guys across the league, dimensions, even like a Mike Zimmer or Marvin Lewis, like those guys just to mention. So he has that feel already. And I think it's very important because he understands what is the best way to put certain guys in position to make plays based on their strengths, not make them to do something that they're not typically used to. What is the way they learn? He mentioned about IEP's plans during his press conference. He already has looked at the defense for probably multiple weeks based on the film process. And I think for him, having the players that actually fit what he wants to do, but still going to do his thing different. Just because he comes from Brian Flores doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get every single entirety of a Brian Flores style defense. It might be something that he learned from Mike Zimmer. It might be something that he learned from Marvin Lewis, the guys that I mentioned. So wherever he constructs this defense, he already understands how to call plays. It's going to be very interesting based on the pro personnel department, him working together, how they're going to get the talent around to get some of these spots filled out.
Right back to you, Cal. David Blau, you know, we heard about the touchdown to Crowder in the big game last year against the Eagles to win the game. You know, we hear he had a lot of input, right? How much do you put into the player coach, right? Because we've seen a lot of this across the league that they played under this guy and they played under this guy. But my impression is, I'm thinking they out there trying to prep to be a football player, but they prepping to be coaches. Like, do you think that's just like an excuse to kind of give the perception that these guys are ready to be coaches, or do you think there's an actual thing in a player coach?
Well, there is definitely a thing in a player coach and being able to connect with players. Durante Jones brought this up. He said they have to know that I'm here for their benefit, right? That I'm trying to get the best out of them as people first and foremost, and then they follow through with coaching. So the player coach thing is a legitimate, obvious thing. And David Blau, coming from his days in college, he was never revered as the number one starter. He had to compete all throughout his college career. And then obviously in the pros, he was put into some really tough situations mid-season, getting called up when injuries to quarterbacks and other teams happen. So this is a guy who is very used to being put in an uncomfortable setting. And so I would be willing to say David Blau is probably a good bet to have, given that he was here before. He knows the players that he's going up with. It's not like Durante Jones in that sort of regard, where Durante Jones behind the 8 ball, he's trying to catch up. And that's why he implemented the IEPs so that everyone is on the same page. With David Blau, I do think that he is going to have a difficult time. Look, we can talk about the Crowder touchdown, but there's a different aspect to calling plays where you have one play that you're using on one drive, and then the script, the 15-20 play script that you come up with and have to design and use. There's a big difference there. But I'd be willing to bet that David Blau is in a very good position to be hitting the ground running. We like to talk that quarterbacks' jobs are the hardest jobs not in the world, but they're very difficult in what you have to do physically and your mechanics, mentally, and then physically being able to see what is happening and being able to diagnose things and then be accurate with the football. So out of any position on the football field, which is one that you could say probably has the best confidence going into coaching and calling plays, I'd be willing to argue it's quarterback, given with his history there that he'd be able to come in and hit the ground running. And I loved everything Joe Witt said when he was hired, right? And he and Dan Quinn both preached that they were going to put players in positions to succeed. And look, it's easier said than done, but I took their word for it. With Durante Jones, I do believe that he is going to do that. But the big question here is, in Minnesota, they ran that 3-4 multi-front defense based on what they had in the cupboard. So what is Durante Jones going to do here? And the one asset that he has in his cap is that he has coached in a bunch of different defenses. So it's not like he's pigeonholed to one certain defense that he has to run. So I think with him in particular, we're going to see a fantastic way of him utilizing these guys to their strengths. And it was music to my ears when he said Frankie Luvu is at his best when he's running downhill. Like I'm a defensive guy, and I'm so happy that he freaking said that, because it's 100% true. And that should have been utilized last season, but it wasn't. And so I think overall, the player coach aspect, it works, because I'm a coach myself, and I had to kind of get into that mindset of knowing that, like, the kids have to know that you're there for their well-being. Otherwise, they're not gonna listen to you.
That's true.
They think that you're just trying to find something to yell at them about, when in reality, you're just trying to help them get better. And when they understand that you have their well-meaning behind it, that's when you start to get some more response.
Kickers. Listen, man. We need a kicker, right? We got 2 picks in the 7th, right, Smoke?
Yep.
2 picks in the 7th. Last year, I think we had 2 in the 7th last year too, right? I forgot what trade it was or something we had. Did we get?
I think
No,
that's true.
JC, Bill,
I believe
and
The
Yeah,
edge
2
rusher. The one that got hurt. Wasn't he in the 7th?
Nah, that was the year.
Yeah, he was
before.
2
You
seasons
talking
ago.
about
Was it
JC,
Kane
bring back
Medrano?
Kane was
I
a
think
5th.
Madrona was a 5th.
Was a 5th?
So maybe we only had 1 7th. I thought we had 2.
Oh, I think we had 2. Didn't we have 2 6ths?
Maybe that's what it was. But
think
either
that's what
way,
it was.
right? I didn't get the kicker last year. So I'm pushing forward again. I know we only got 6 picks, Smoke, but I'm going for a hashtag kicker in the 7th with that second pick. What is it? 223, I think. I want to get a kicker, man, but I think we absolutely need a kicker. I mean, Moody hit some big ones. I mean, I was playing Madden a couple weeks ago. He hit one from 63, right? You know what I'm saying?
man.
So, like, it's possible, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's possible. You know what I'm saying? But I also did auto kick, right? Because I'm horrible at that thing. But one of the kickers on our on you guys list that you all have your favorite kicker, Kyle and Smoke, is my guy, Trey Smack Trey, whatever you want to call him. Give us a little bit about him, Smoke, and then Kyle, and then DT has another guy. What's up? What's up, Slim? Slim is in the. Oh, hold on, man. Listen. If you listen to the interview, when Durante mentioned IEP, you can tell he immediately regretted it because he said, get these guys on IEP for football. So he immediately regretted him saying IEP because that's educational. What is it?
Individualized educational plan.
Educational plan. Yeah, there it is. So no, we not doing that because DT don't really like teaching, so we don't want to put that on him on a Sunday. So we not going there. Slim was good, Slim. Yeah, all right, go ahead, Smoke.
Trey Smack, man. Me and Kyle, we decided to come up with the same guy. Glad I said the list out there. But this is a guy, just 2024 season was a Lou Garza Award finalist. Didn't win the award coming into this year. Had some good hopes. Ended like 83% from kicking. I think it was 10 or 13, around 83%. Was invited to the Shrine Bowl, which was a good thing. So he got to participate in that. But yeah, like you say, man, shout out to Moody. He came in. This was his third team last year. Moody was the one that sent our season on the downslide. After the fumble against the Bears, he kicked the game winner. But he ended up kicking for us last year. Was the best kicker we had last year. I don't know why AP decided to give the most guaranteed money to a guy that's no longer on the team. But yeah, they got to find a way to evaluate a kicker like immediately. And why not start with Trey Smack? What you got on Trey Smack, Kyle?
Yeah, Trey Smack, like Akon, play Smack that for all my Siri people out there. I would love to be able to use that this season. He was 81% overall in his field goals made. From yards 40 to 49, he was 5 of 6 this season. From 50 plus, he was 5 of 6 as well, with a long of 56 yards. And that's the easy one for a lot of the fan base because that's the first number they go to is the 50. In the 50s, how good are you from there? Because that way we could get some more points. We don't have to punt as much. We don't have to lean on Tress a little bit. I would love to be able to get that up, pump those numbers up to 60. But given with where Washington is, I would want somebody like Trey Smack, who out of the guys that they interviewed, Trey Smack was probably the best of the bunch, in my personal opinion. And you got to love the last name of it. It's a great last name, especially for a kicker, smacking that thing through. So out of all the guys from the Florida boys, I'm going with Trey Smack. And, great minds think alike. And that's why me and Smokey here have a lot of similar prospects tonight.
DT. I was surprised.
Yeah, so
you went Michigan. I do applaud you. I do applaud Radar. Y'all are OS you guys to the bone, but you understand talent. You're willing to put your bias to the side and choose to talk about a kicker from Michigan. See what happens? You talk about Michigan.
I don't think he could hear you.
Yeah, you're muted.
I can't hear you, DT.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
It was acting up for a bit. So I missed some of it. It sounded like you were throwing a troll job for the Michigan. So but I had to pivot because I literally found out today that my kicker from Ole Miss, he is not in the draft apparently. So he is returning back to school. That is very unfortunate. But however, I'm going to do Dominique Zada. He is a Michigan kicker. He transferred from Arkansas State. Have some of the statistics stuff that I did a report on. He's 6'3", 187 pounds. Transferred from Arkansas State. He was a 2024 All-American, and he was a Big Ten Kicker of the Year in 2024. I will say this year, 2025 season was a little bit of a regression from the 2024 season. He was 17 of 25 kicking, so that's probably like 68% kicking percentage. However, he was still 7 of 7 from 50 yards in all his kicks. So, with us, we can't even kick 50. We also can't kick 30. So that's another question out there. But you talk about if we're getting 2024, we're talking about someone that was very consistent, kicking 50-yarders, putting Michigan in situations to get them to win And I think for him, he has a very strong leg and he's very accurate. Now, the question will be the accuracy was a little bit of a dip. What was the change this year to last year? You know, what was the difference between 2024 and 2025?
I like how you included his height and weight, like that matters for kickers. I do appreciate you doing that.
Look at the guy. Skinny John.
We're thorough here. All right.
I love it.
All right. Let's go right to Smoke. Let me see if I can get this thing to play right. Let's see. And no, we're not putting no kicker videos up. All right, here we go. Smoke Cow. This is another two of the guys that you two agreed on. From our center, Logan Jones. Smokey, you up?
Hey man, Logan, man. Hey, he's I think the caption of the space said day 3 centers, but no, like this dude is definitely getting drafted day 2. Like I'm looking top 50, top 60. Like he's a beast, man. Loves to climb block. Great off of the initial snap. The one I'm gonna give a struggle right fast. The one thing I noticed with his struggle is if there's a delayed blitz, he tends to react late to a delayed blitz. But I think that can be, worked on, coached up and stuff like that. But as far as like initial contact, blocking down, getting to the next level, this is the guy that you want. 6'3", about 6'3", 302. Some people say he's considered undersized to be a center, but he plays physical, man. He was the Remington Award winner this year for 2025. He was a part of the Joe Moore Award. That's for the best O-line in the nation. Iowa breeds O-linemen, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I know me and Kyle, we kind of picked him together because we see some good things in him. But I think he's a day 2 guy. Like we got a third, we don't got a second. So he's there in the third. I wouldn't be mad at good old Logan Jones, man. He's pretty solid. What you got on him, Kyle?
Yeah, I honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, anybody from Iowa that plays offensive line has a spot on my football team. The way that they play the game, they play it with a tenacity, with a violence. They're very structurally sound, and they execute their blocks. And the way that they play, this one's Bo Stevens. Do you have the other video?
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, Bo, look, I'm going to talk about Bo.
Let me take a pause right quick, right? Because we do all of our HR administrative stuff live on air. When you all send videos, label them. Put a name in that 1, 2, 3, 4, my movie 1, 202 699. Actually put a name on them.
Oh,
I got you. My original emails were labeled, by the way, but they were not to be downloaded.
I think I did that. I put Logan Jones, Iowa, because I said all my thread. Hold on. My thread for this week would be under my next guy. But yeah, so go ahead. Keep going. I know. Call us out.
All right. Bring that back to the
It's absolutely crazy.
Just wait till you watch this. All right. Big number 65.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's on a screenplay there. Where's the next one? Oh, you're starting it over?
Yeah. Looking like Brandon Sheriff out there. 65.
Yeah. You're going to see a common theme with these boys. Now watch 65 at the top of the screen going to the sideline.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second.
Yep.
Tyler, be honest, I've never seen you do this.
Yeah, cool.
Oh my God. Take him to the bench.
Yep.
Take him to the bench, young fella.
So
Take him to the bench.
What I love about this cat is that he is able to pull to the outside. You saw that, right? And that's one thing that Laramie Tunsil, Josh Connerly, Sam Cosme, all very athletic guys, so they can move all over the field. Logan Jones can do it. You saw that one? Logan Jones is somebody who plays with violence. He arrives violently. He executes his blocks. He's athletic, can get outside, and is a very dependable guy. Coming into this, PFF has him ranked the 9th out of 304 centers in the overall in NCAA. He's fantastic. And look, like Smoke said it, he's going to be drafted higher than usual, but him and Bo Stevens, and the one thing we have to take into consideration, There are a lot of guards and tackles in this draft that played tackle and guard in college that are going to be talked about playing center. And that's why I included Bo Stevens in this, who's his guard that plays next to him, left guard, number 70. And I really want to highlight him as well for center.
All right. DT, Pat Cougar. This is somebody that may be there for day 3, right?
I did want to talk a little bit about him after you're done, DT.
Yeah, sure. So, actually, dudes, I'll probably say he'll probably might have an opportunity go a little bit later on day 2 if his draft process too. But Pat Coogan, Smoke knows him very well. He's a former Notre Dame Golden Head. He transferred to Indiana to the other team in Indiana, and you see a guy who has multi-starter ability, play guard and play center. Multiple spots on the offensive line, but you see the work he has done for Indiana. The one thing Indiana wanted to do was get better in the trenches after they lost to Ohio State and Notre Dame in the college football playoff the year before. And Pat Coogan was literally the first person Kirk Cincinnati called with NIL and signed them up. And you see a tremendous improvement with Pat Coogan. Just look at the athletic ability he's able to do against the Alabama defensive front guys like Tim Smith, James Smith as well, playing against the SEC, playing against the Big Ten, athletic enough to get on the outside. This is a guy that you could see could possibly be a heir apparent to a Tyler Biotic.
Go ahead, Kyle.
One thing that did stand out with Pat Coogan being 6'5", 311 pounds. PFF had him ranked 12th out of 304 centers. But the one thing that I did take away from him, in a lot of his blocking sets, he's going backwards off his initial. And that's like the one concerning thing is like, yeah, he executes the block well. It's not like he's making a bunch of mistakes and getting ran over, but it's like the initial block coming through, he's getting pushed off of a little bit. And that's like the only concerning thing with Pat Coogan. Otherwise, he's very fundamentally sound and all that. But it's just something that took me back for a pause a little bit. I want more so of the inflicting of will kind of thing, but I understand where Pat Coogan comes from, where he's doing everything structurally sound, and I liked his film a lot. It's just one thing I took away from it.
One thing I kind of say, it looks like he gets outside of the shoulder pad pretty often. Does he have a high hold rate, DT, at all? Do you know?
Not that I know of. I'm just now getting really into the offensive line. I'm still going through the game. I just went to actually about to get to the Iowa game probably Monday or Tuesday when they were 13-10. But the one thing I can say for him, that athleticism, that is something we needed. I think for him, he's a versatile offensive lineman playing in 2 different schemes, played under Mike Shanahan for the University of Indiana, and also played under Mike Denbrock, who was Jada Daniels' offensive coordinator when he was at LSU. So he has an understanding of multiple systems, and this could be a guy that with the ability can be a spot starter, then potentially if like Kyle noted out, can hone some of the things that could be a weakness, he can be a starter in the league for 10 to 15 years down the line.
All right, Smokey. Parker Brailsford.
Hey, man, Alabama University transfer. He transferred in from the University of Washington, and in 3 seasons playing, he's only allowed 2 sacks. He's only allowed 2 sacks, man. This is another guy that can get up. Hey, I want you to go back a little bit, right? Go back a little bit and just look at that. Look at that. Like, just finishing. That's what we need. You know what I mean? Like, he gets up to the next level as well. Pass pro, pretty good. Like I say, only allowed 2 sacks in 3 seasons between University of Washington and Alabama, man. When you're in the SEC, man, you said some big guys in the middle, and he held his own. Yeah.
Take him where you want to go, big fella.
Come on now.
Look at him. Take him where you want to go. Look at his pull.
Look at the pull.
Like, he's running like Joe
Bugle
Bugle coached him.
Bro, like, let me, like, okay, so something to keep in mind, like when guys pull, right? You always want to see if they opening up, like which feet is moving, whichever way they're going, right? If he's going to his right, you want to see him open up right. Oh my God!
You want to see that right elbow cocked back.
Bro, that is elite. And watch how he goes straight down the line. He didn't bend. He didn't curve out. He didn't what you call it? He didn't belly out. He didn't do anything. He came straight down the line, and he knows his target from where he is now. He knows his target where he is now. And watch how he turns that corner and come with that silver block. This is some good stuff right here. I guess he's not going day 3 either, right?
No, he's projected round 3, round 4. He's sneaky athletic. Some of the scouts, they already talked about, I understand you don't like the under the Olympics, but he already shown to jump a 33-inch vertical as a center. He's very athletic, 6'2", 297. Man, this dude can move, man. He is in that day 3 range, you know, because he's just a little undersized, but he's smart as a whip. Basically followed the Alabama coach to Alabama. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's my guy right there. But, of course, if I had to rank him, I'm taking Logan Jones over Parker. But I like Parker, bro. Like, as you see it on the tape, this guy can't pull and things of that nature. And you got to think, going under center, Deuce, going under center, our line may have to be versatile that can get sideline to sideline in whatever scheme they deploy, stretch zone or whatever it is. So, hey, man, Parker is the guy, bro. Like, I love his tape.
Cal, is Buell movie 1?
What's up?
Is Buell the other video?
Bo, Bo Stevens, yeah. That's so funny you called him Bew because my buddy Kevin did the same exact thing.
I always do that. It's a guy that come in. It's a guy that come into spaces that's Bo too. I always call him Bew.
All right, so this is Bo Stevens. So he's actually ranked by PFF higher than Logan Jones. He's ranked as the 149th overall prospect in the draft class. He was rated 4th of 670 guards at 6'5", 315 pounds. I included that clip because the Iowa offensive line, there's poetic in what they're able to accomplish overall.
Look at that push.
Look at this pull. Look what he does in 99.
Look, everybody falling.
Watch that again, what he did to 99.
Look at that play design. Who's the OC? Oh, my gosh. Look at this smoke. Look at the beauty. Look, watch this. Look at that. Look at the beauty. Oh, my gosh. That's beautiful right there.
Is another fighter, and this is somebody that
somebody got bullied.
Yeah, and that's what Iowa does. It's funny because Jennings Dunker played right tackle for them. He worked out as a center at the Senior Bowl. Bo Stevens is working out as a center over these underwear Olympics, as you guys like to say in pro days. Then they have Logan Jones as well. So there's a very good chance that this Iowa graduating class can have 3 possible Pro Bowl centers in the NFL just from one class. And I think all these guys are very well capable of being that. But like Logan Jones just shows that extra ferociousness, and I like a lot. But Bo Stevens at 6'5", 315, I think that he could be the kind of center where, you like to say you want your bigger guys to get off the bus. And he's one of those guys you want to see the first one to get off the bus to show what you're about.
All right, Sam Heck, DT, what you got?
Sam Heck, the boy from Kansas State. He had a tremendous all-star game. This guy has played multiple years at Kansas State. When I look at him, I see some of the guys that have come from the Big 12 athletic. He's 6'4", 300 pounds, 4 years of college at Kansas State. He was first team all Big 12. He had 25 starts in his life. He is very athletic. He has strong IQ, running fits, look like he can be in a zone blocking scheme, gap power scheme. Look like he could play multiple assets of your offensive line. And I think him at the I believe he was at the Shrine Bowl or Senior Bowl, one of those all-star games. I think it truly helped his stock because a lot of people were trying to see what was going on with Kansas State. Because Kansas State, they didn't really have the year that everybody typically expects out of them. They're typically a 9-win, 10-win team, but they fell below their expectations. I see a guy that you could possibly grab on day 3. Again, you can groom him and develop him to be one day a starter for the offensive line. And it's very interesting that we're talking about and we're seeing some of these young, talented offensive linemen from all the tape that we're seeing, because in actuality, when we talked about earlier, Deuce, about the depth of this offensive line. You got Andrew Wiley going to be out. He played some guard, especially after Nick Allegretti got benched, the first couple of weeks. That's going to be it's going to be a very interesting thing to look at this offensive line, especially at the guard spot. We know Chris Paul, a lot of people are expecting him to get a team-friendly contract with this team, but what do you do with the depth? And there's some guys up here that have some athleticism. David Blau comes from Detroit. They had a very solid offensive line. It's interesting to see what they're going to do.
All right, let's go to the quarterbacks, right? Like we mentioned at the top, we do have Jaden Daniels, and we do have the guy that has probably the best PR team in the world, and Sam Hartman. Matter of fact, I don't even think he's under contract, right? Because then they had to release him at one point, and then they signed him back. Is he even under contract? I gotta double check. I don't
Got
even
up here
know.
practice squad, so I don't know what it means. Practice.
Oh yeah,
squad.
maybe they signed him to like the futures contract. Yeah, I think they probably signed him to one of the futures contracts at the end of the year. But Cal, Cole Payton is like, I don't know what the team is thinking about how to move forward, but obviously, right, like the elephant in the room is that Five has been injured, right? He missed a lot of games this past year. He was injured his first year. Mariota got a lot of burn, right? And this is the reason why I think it might take Mariota a little while longer to decide if he wants to come back and be a backup, because like he got the taste what starter feel like, and he had some success last year. And there are some teams out there, because of this draft is so weak, that they might want a bridge guy to come in to play maybe the first half of the season, or to kind of play out. Everybody, looking for that redemption quarterback, right? And he's possibly can be one. But if they do decide to go quarterback day 3 or somebody sneaking there, you and Smoke guy is Cole Payton, and we're gonna start with you, Kyle. What do you think about Cole Payton?
Yeah, the hefty lefty, 6'3", 233 pounds. PFF ranked him first of 315 qualified quarterbacks in college football. He's ranked overall at 231 in this class. The one bad thing you could say about Cole Payton is that he doesn't go to his checkdowns enough, relies too heavily on his legs to be able to get things going. But what I like about it is, if you have a backup quarterback, you need somebody with this that you can run a similar offense with, which is what Mariota was basically to Jaden Daniels. They could run a similar offense based on their skill sets. Cole Payton offers you that with his legs and his ability to, but he's also a fantastic deep ball quarterback. Great accuracy in that sort of regard. Moves the chains. There's a reason why he was rated as high as he was, because he's not making that many dumb mistakes. Like when I watch like Taylon Green, the quarterback from Arkansas, like that's obviously somebody who's very gifted with the football in his hands, but makes some very bad mistakes at times that obviously can't get coached up on. But like you don't get that with Cole Payton. Obviously the competition is something, but I think just given with his makeup at 6'3", 233 pounds, you don't have to change much to the offense. And given with we could add some more weapons and get him actually up to speed, I think that's one thing that fans were clamoring about this season is we were playing Marcus Mariota. We were playing Josh Johnson. We didn't have somebody to bring in there that we were kind of grooming to be a possible starter one day or in an emergency quarterback. And that's what you'd be getting with Cole Payton.
Smoke, what you got?
Hey man, it's very rare you see one prospect get 2 comps as far as pro players. One comp is Taysom Hill because of, he was Cole Payton is a former running back. They use him at quarterback and running back in 52 career games played. So one comp, you get Taysom Hill a lot. And the other comp, when it comes to just playing straight quarterback, they saying left-handed Jalen Hurts. And like Kyle said, like Jalen Hurts, good ball, deep ball accuracy thrower. This guy Cole Payton got the good deep ball. And I totally agree with the check down. When I was watching certain film, I'm like, the tight end is sitting right there in the middle of the field. But he had a Bryce Lance on his team that was beating guys at that level, one-on-one on the outside and stuff like that. So, hey, man, like I say, still needs to, grow. But like I say, coming here and growing with a third-year Jaden, a new play caller and stuff like that, yeah, man, I'm all in on Cole Payton, man. He's a football player. And that's what you look for sometimes.
I sent you one little small video on email of Cole Payton that I really wanted to show here.
Where you send it at?
I sent it to your email from my email. It's just literally 1 7-second video.
Just now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me wait till it pull up. Oh, here you go.
I was trying to see if it actually would show on my phone how good it would look, and it looks terrible.
Kyle, do me a favor. Look at your phone, Kyle. Can you see on your phone, Kyle?
Yeah.
You know them cracks on your phone, Kyle?
Oh, no, that's my screen protector.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we can't see that, Kyle.
I use it for work. So in construction, you can't really see all that much behind walls and stuff. You got to use your phone,
I can't
man.
play it for some reason.
Dang it.
It probably take a while. I don't know what it is like.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it if it loads.
Yeah, but now, like he's a true dual threat quarterback. Relies on his legs, stuff like that. Only thing is that with former North Dakota State quarterbacks, I saw a lot of under center stuff. This dude, man, he played a lot out of shotgun, So it may be something like new for him on the transition.
Or put it. See if you could put it in the X chat on Twitter. Maybe I can get it from there. All right, yeah. DT. Connor Wegman. I think you're on mute, DT.
Dang it. I pulled to see Henry. All right. So as I was saying, Connor Wegman, he first started his career at Texas A&M. He then would leave and transfer to the University of Houston. I believe he had to sit out a year. But with the limited time that I was able to see of him, I was able to see anticipation. I was able to see a pro-style quarterback playing with timing, calm delivery in the pocket. He did show some leadership. Very surprised that, A&M kind of let them walk away. In my opinion, I think the quarterback that they have now, I think Wegman is probably a little bit further along in development than the Reed kid. But he went to Houston. They won 10 games. A very productive player. I do think he's very limited mobility-wise, but when you're able to throw with anticipation and get the ball out your hands, that really can suffice for your mobility. And I think for him, when you're looking at the style of offense that potentially we will run with a David Blau, he would be a great fit for what we'll do as being a fit with Jada Daniels.
Yeah, one thing about Connor, Reed took over the starting job for him about 8 games into the season last year. For some reason, I think they were sitting 6-2 at the time, and they just still decided to say, "Hey, let's go with Reed" and stuff like that. So he decided to just transfer to Houston, get him to 10 wins. Man, you can't complain about that.
Oh, this is a run. Okay.
Ooh,
athletic. Yeah, he's more like Mariota.
From a quarterback, that's
pretty impressive. But that's the guy that was a running back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he played snaps at running back. Yeah.
Here, I got another one I'm sending in to you.
He's a good accurate pass on the run, too.
Very. But this one was probably my favorite throw that he had. Oh, come on, dude.
Mitch asked in the chat, Taylon Green. Anybody?
Yeah. I'm gonna start there. During the Senior Bowl, it seemed like they was forcing Taylon Green in the offense. They were showcasing him. For some reason, he led a lot of the drills. I don't know if he was on a national or American team, but because he was on the same team with Nussmeier and stuff like that. And it seemed like when they did 2-minute drills, Taylon Green, the first one taking snaps and stuff like that. So I don't know why it felt like the Senior Bowl coaches was forcing them onto the NFL scout. You know what I mean? Because he got the size. Taylon Green, 6'5", 220-something. But like Kyle said earlier, just makes bad decisions. You know what I mean? Taylon Green makes bad decisions, man. So We're gonna see, but he's freakishly athletic. He's a guy that could go to the underwear Olympics, drop a 4.44, 5.40, and next thing you know, he's skyrocketing up someone's board because he has all the so-called measurables right there already.
All right, Deuce, the last video I just sent you, the latest one, is the one I wanted to showcase. Yeah, with Taylor Green, you get like the Anthony Richardson kind of vibe, where he has all the tools, he has the height, he has the arm, the athleticism to do really well. It's just those mental hiccups where at some points he's throwing the ball to people. I forget what defense he went against, but I think he threw like 3 picks, and they were like very, very bad, like straight up throwing to the defender. But the upside is what you're always going to covet. And I think somebody like Kevin O'Connell could do really well with that. But if you're talking like an emergency quarterback right away, I think Taylor Green is probably a couple years away.
All right, I'm just waiting for these to come up. Go ahead, DT.
When you talk about Taylor Green, like, I mean, if we're talking about just based off the traits and the talent, he is up there with, and it could be over Fernando Mendoza, but we're talking about specifically playing the quarterback position right now. He has a long way to go. And, you know, it's going to take some coaching with some of his mechanics, you know, checking down. Also have to be with the fit. Who's going to have the time to take their time with a guy like that with that talent? You know, he's 6'6", 230. Could possibly run for like a 50-yard run and also throw an 80-yard bomb with all the strength. But it's going to be the little things that matters when the NFL. So the traits are amazing, but we seen what happens when you take traits over the ready product like an Anthony Richardson compared to a Jaden Daniels. Just had to slide that in
there. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
DT, let me ask you, DT and Kyle. Do y'all know the quarterback from University of what is it, USF, South Florida? I think it's like
Byron Brown.
Yeah. Did he get invited to the combine?
No, he actually transferred to Auburn. He followed Alex.
So this is supposed to be like year 7, bro. I was looking for him. I'm like,
yeah,
where's he at? He should be, you know what I mean, in the NFL draft.
That's how I felt about my kicker from Ole Miss.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you guys, look out for the kid that played at Boston College this year and I think transferred to Rutgers. I think he's playing for Rutgers this year. He, for some reason, I don't know why, I was under the impression that he was, where's his name? But his teammate came from Boston College, is actually in the draft this year. And I thought that it was him. And I was like, dude, this kid should be way up on the board. He's not coming out into this draft. I forget what his name is, but I think he transferred to Rutgers. That's somebody to keep an eye on for next season.
All right, I was able to get the clip, Kyle.
There you go. Look at the down. It's 3rd and 12.
He heaved that joint. Look at the
look where that ball
horrible.
lands. Look where that ball lands.
Oh, Bryce Lake.
Keep going. It'll do it.
Yeah, he put that joint.
He day 2, ain't he? I'm talking about Lance, ain't he? He day 2, right?
Possibly. I think there's some questions about competition and things like that.
That thing lands right above the defender's helmet.
Don't stop. Oh, yeah, that was poor play too. Look, he don't know where the ball at.
Yep.
When we do DBs, I don't want to see him, y'all. Whoever that kid is.
Nah, we ain't looking at DBs from Youngstown. No, that ain't Youngstown State.
South Dakota State.
Gee whiz. All right. Let's go to the next one. You also had Kyle, you also had the other kid, Luke Altmaier. Talk to us.
Yeah, I really like Luke Altmaier. He's underrated as an athlete and what he can do with his legs. They ranked him 93rd at 315 quarterbacks. PFF did. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. But he makes really good decisions. This year, he had a 67% completion percentage, threw for over 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But when you're talking about just from a scheme standpoint of being able to throw over the middle, be able to get the ball to the outside, doesn't have the greatest of arm strength, but still is able to push the ball downfield and get guys in stride. Luke Altmaier checks those boxes. I just wanted to include somebody else because Smoke and I couldn't possibly agree on every prospect. So I had to throw somebody else in there.
Yeah.
All right, DT, like, bro, like, I don't know, man. Like, I did draft him in Madden. After the first year, Jalen Daniels.
He's electric.
I did draft him in Madden, right? But this kid he's pretty good, bro. Like, I guess you would really have to take a chance on him. He's a developmental player, but I think if Mariota goes somewhere else, right, and you miss out on someone like Tyrod Taylor or something like that, this kid go undrafted, man. Like you might got to take a chance on him, right? Because I think this kid can do all the things, not at the level that Jaden can. Of course, he still needs to develop, but I really like this kid a lot, and Jalen Daniels.
The funniest thing that you just said was Tyrod Taylor, and that's the comp I give to Jalen Daniels. Played multiple years at Kansas. He had an opportunity to actually, I believe, come out last year, but he stuck it out for one more year at Kansas. Now he plays in a very authentic offense with Andy Cortez. He went to Penn State and coached with Drew Aller. They run a lot of funky formation, a lot of motions, action fakes, things like that, in which allow you see some of the things to do. For example, like this play right here. Watch the flip of his hip. The flip of his hip to go back in the base form and throw it back to the check down. That's something that you see in the NFL, especially at the combine, flipping your hips, getting back to base, and throwing it to your next spot. And I think for a guy like Jalen Daniels, when we see like Baltimore, they have what's the brother's name? He always come back. I can't think of his name.
Luke Huntley.
Huntley.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley.
They never get away from Huntley. I could see Jalen Daniels being the Tyler Huntley to Jaden Daniels. He has a strong arm. He's very athletic. I see him more as like a creator, backfield creator, can make some plays, escape in the pocket. And I think for him, he has a strong arm. The strong arm to throw all the way down the field. Now, the one thing I do have a problem with him is sometimes his accuracy can be very streaky. There'll be some games you'll be like, what in the world is you doing? Like one game you 20 or 28, then the next game you're like 12 or 27. Like it's got to be a consistency thing. Might be some footwork problems, things like that, mechanics under pressure. But this is someone you can see if he gets some time, he can grow in the same offense. They can have an offense built for Jaden and Jalen if Daniels do suffer some injuries. But we're going to knock on wood on the part I just said because I want JD5 to be healthy all next year.
Yeah, the one word I'd use to describe him is slippery. Very, very slippery in the backfield. It's hard to get a hold of him. He's constantly running around. The one thing you could point to this probably in structure of a play is where he could probably develop more going to the next level because a lot of his is off the script type stuff. But like DT labeled it perfectly. He's incredibly athletic. He has a laser for an arm that he has, and he has the tools, right? It's just getting that in structure down because playing in the pros is a different animal, man. Everybody's fast.
I just want to, like, a lot of times when you hear, I know if you heard Smoke, I know if you heard me, we talk about like 5 and like play action, but watch the middle linebacker. Let me see what his number is. I don't know. Can y'all see my cursor?
Yeah.
I see it. Watch this guy and watch this guy on his ball fake. You see that? Look at him. Look at him.
You got both 4 players heading that way.
Right. This guy takes the fake, right, with the rush. This guy goes here, and I think this other guy gets froze here.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the play fake. Look at that. He's twisted his legs up, right? He's opened up this way.
And that
Oh my goodness!
safety,
I didn't even see him at first.
the safety was staring at him the entire time.
Look at him. Watch him up here. The
trying to
safety.
get back to the middle.
Look at that. He had a reverse pivot all the way around. But those are some of the things that we talk about. We want to see. We want to see from 5. Some of those things right there. Yeah, Jalen is really he's fast. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for the prospects that we pull. I don't know if you guys want to throw some more in there. We did try to go day 3, but a lot of those guys we call is probably going to go day 4 or sooner, for the most part. But what we are, I think these are some of the positions that I wouldn't call like a day 1 need, but these absolutely are down the line needs. Well, the kicker could be a day 1 need, but like as far as the center, Biotish is extension eligible. He got 1 year left on his deal. We got to see how they decide to do that. If they do decide to go center, then what does that mean for Tyler Biotish if they decide to go of one of your guys, Smokey, at day 3 if he lasts at pick 71? Because we have a high third, right? It is a third, but it's also a high third. So a lot of guys that's projected to go second kind of can sneak into that top of the third. If they do that, what is that to say about Tyler Biotish? So there are a lot of questions, but I absolutely think we need to get a center to develop. That's just the right way of doing things. The guy Dieter, he's just not someone that I want to bring back next year. We absolutely need another center to develop. And dog tie Sawyer Robertson was someone that Mitch just brought up. Anyone got something
from
on
Baylor. He has the tools, being 6'4", 220 pounds, but it's a lot like Jalen Daniels, where a lot of the offense is like your kind of Cliff Kingsbury type of stuff, where their running game works off of their passing game, where they're able to get some screens out to help you out a little bit. But he does show the ability to have some accuracy in the medium range at being able to lay the ball out. But he does struggle sometimes with touch at being able to lay the ball out for a wide receiver to be catchable. But for the most part, he has the tools. It's just decision-making at some times. But it's not like you're disgusted with this film, like a lot of times what you get from a Taylon Green, where you're just like, why are you doing that? You're not really getting that with Sawyer Robertson. But the transition to the NFL, I think he has the tools to be able to do it. But we're probably talking about a day 3 pick.
All right, let's get to mock 1.0. We're going to be doing mock drafts every Sunday. We're going to have them ready on Sunday. We're not going to actually go through the mock, but we're going to have the mock throughout the week. And this week we had DT and we had Smoke as our coordinators, and I was AP, just in case they couldn't agree with on something. I will make the final decision. Next week, we're going to have Cal and Radar. I don't know, Radar. I want people to hear his voice. I don't know what's going on with that with Radar.
He's a shadow, man.
Right. And then Smoke is going to be AP, and the Radar can't do it in DT and a Cal, and then Smoke will be AP. Dog tie axe is Smokey sleep.
No, I'm not, bro. Come on, I'm chilling. Hey, y'all, I'm in my good couch. This is my couch. I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Oh man! And one thing I didn't do, which I probably should have did, which remind me, Cal, when we do it this upcoming week, is kind of put the players around that were still on the board around this time.
Okay.
We didn't do that.
That's
So
good
maybe
idea.
we can remember to do that for next week. But all right, DT Smoke, run us down the mock, man.
All right, so after got called at work and had some spare time before the basketball game, me and Smoke and AP, I will say, we were on the phone and we made some decisions. Smoke. So the biggest debate we had at number 7 was, do we go Caleb Downs or do we go Cardell Tate? For me, I felt like, I do want a wide receiver, but I just felt like with what Durante Jones could possibly run in this defense. When you get a guy that can be your cleanup guy in the back end, and quite frankly, we don't have a cleanup guy in that back end. We don't have a guy like a Josh Metellus or Harrison Smith. You see how those safeties were being used in that style of defense with Brian Flores. Having a guy like Caleb Downs, as young as he is, be your coach on the back end can be a tremendous benefit for a first-year defensive coordinator. Getting one of the best football players, I just think Caleb Downs will be a home run pick for the Commanders to have him playing on the back end multiple spots.
Yeah, Caleb, he's a guy that, you know, if you sitting inside the top 10, you're looking for elite talent. He's someone I absolutely would turn away a trade back for. He's a football player, man. Played for Nick Saban, went to Ohio State, played his last 2 years, won a national championship, almost had a great season this year towards the end, but they just couldn't find a way. But he wasn't the reason. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about, I think that day, we talked about 3 guys from Ohio State
Sammy Styles
that could
too.
potentially be there at 7. Tate,
Sonny
Styles,
Styles.
and Downs. You know what I mean? So we decided to go Downs. Let's go ahead and secure that back end. You know what I mean? Because we went Mikey, we went Amos. Why not go add that safety? Then next thing you know, you got 3 of your 4 you know what I mean, back end players solidified for years to come, man. So I understand some people want to build front to back, but I feel like, you know, with the addition of a Kinlaw, who knows what this Payne thing gonna do as far as contract wise? Why not go and add this special talent like Caleb Downs? I go on to 71. Dirk Moore, man. Part of the reason, you know what I mean, we went edge here because we're looking for edge, you know what I mean, especially a young edge, because I got the mindset of if you want a top premium edge, you have to draft them or trade major assets for that guy. You're not going to find that premium edge rusher in free agency. So I believe this offseason they're going to attack free agency, yes, via draft and free agency. They're going to attack that edge group. And Dirk Moore, bro, University of Michigan, he can get after it, bro. He really gets after it. Me and DT, we had no problem with coming together on selecting Dirk Moore, bro. Edge out of Michigan.
Real quick, Dog Tide and Robo, I don't know why y'all not on YouTube. 1, 2. Dog Tide, we did talk Sam Heck when we was going over centers. DT brought him up. He talked about him. But go ahead, DT. Dirk Moore.
Yeah, I mean, look, Smoke said everything that I was gonna say. I mean, I truly think this offseason, I know a lot of people are like, we need to get in the draft, but there can be possibly a quality edge rusher at free agency, but that's not going to stop you from drafting a guy. And when we get to this draft process, I can't wait till we get to the draft of the edge rusher and D-line, because good God almighty, there's some dudes in the draft that a lot of people don't know about. But Darren Moore, man, the Baltimore, Maryland narrative, I'm going to run that card up for him.
Cal, what do you think about their first 2 picks so far?
I'd have to see who is at edge, who is available at 7. But, you know, Dane Brugler has talked about scouts that he's talked to, said Caleb Downs is the best safety prospect that they have scouted ever, which I find hard to believe with guys like Cam Chancellor, Sean Taylor coming out. That just seems like somebody young saying that. But with Caleb Downs, that's somebody that you pick and you forget, in the fact that he can go out. He's going to take away tight ends for you. He can come up and act as that kind of nickel back, guarding the slot, and be able to come up in the run game and make tackles for you. And Deuce, you had uploaded a clip earlier of him actually going against Pat Coogan, who was pulling to the outside. Caleb Downs comes up and does the great job of setting the edge.
He
to
was
the outside.
at middle linebacker. There was a safety. It wasn't like he walked up. It was a safety 8 yards behind him. He was at middle linebacker on that play.
Kane was back there.
And so, like, one thing that Durante Jones highlighted and talked about is that having the versatility, right? Having to be able to move pieces around. And Caleb Downs would allow you to do that, given your defense. But I think that letting go of Cam Curl was ultimately a mistake. And we see that in the running game. And going to get Caleb Downs in the 7 would really help with that defense. And being able just to help nullify the big play bad mistakes. But the Derek Moore, I understand the asset that he is, and the bull rush, big edge kind of guy. But I am much more the out because I want speed on the defensive line. I think that is very important and crucial. And when Durante Jones talks about the versatility of being able to drop back into coverage, being able to confuse offensive lines, I think Derek Moore would leave a lot to be desired in that category. But like that's why we already have a Dorrance Armstrong. We already have Dietrich Wise. Like we kind of have the bigger kind of set defensive ends. I would like to see some speed added to that room. But I agree with Smoke, and I've said that many times myself. You're not going to be able to sign a legit good rusher in free agency. You have to draft them, and that's why I'm circling at number 7 for that spot. But for what you guys did, I can't go against it. I can't say it's a bad move whatsoever. I understand the thought process behind it.
And for this one, Bain and Bailey were already gone by this time.
Don't tell me that. Who took them? If I see another draft where the Giants take an edge rusher, I'm going to be pissed, man. They don't need one.
I know Bailey. If I remember, Bailey went to the Jets. Where did Bain go?
Did he go to Tennessee?
I want to say the Titans. Yeah.
He go to Tennessee.
I think he went to. I think he went to the Titans.
Ooh, he go to Tennessee, bro. That joint gonna be crazy.
Did Jordan Tyson, was he available?
Yeah, he was available. All right, 145 and 186. Start with you, Smoke.
Josh Cameron looking for a good size and receiver. You know what I mean? Everybody like, hey, 6'2", 6'3", we need that guy. Josh Cameron, good, man. Good high point of ball. I have seen him because we just talked about his quarterback not too long ago. I think somebody whoever asked about it in the comments. Oh man, somebody asked about his quarterback. But yeah, man. So like I say, just good depth. I think we're gonna be very aggressive at that position. Yeah, I think we're gonna be very aggressive at that position early in free agency. Like I wouldn't be surprised if wide receiver was maybe the second position that we hear about in free agency with us. And that could be a Pierce, that could be a IU, that could be a Wan'Dale Robinson. Who knows which way these the people are going to go? Because if you paid attention to David Blau when he talked about Terry getting 10 targets, it was nasty when he said, yeah, Jalen, Luke, Ja'Cory. I was like, oh my, like, man, like, bro, you got to get aggressive, man. So go be aggressive, AP, man. You know what I mean? Like I say, this is a deaf guy that, you know what I mean, got good upside. What you got on him, DT?
Yeah, so I haven't had a great conversation on the timeline with Damian Parson for Bleacher Report and Locked On NFL Draft. And the one thing we literally came to a consensus was Josh Cameron to me screams a Shanahan/McVay style receiver, the unselfish guy that's when he might not get a lot of receptions, but he's going to block the mess out of you. And when I think about perimeter blocking, and you know, Kyle, you're very big on blocking wide receivers when they're not getting touching the football. Getting a guy like Josh Cameron, he's 6'1", 223 pounds. He moves like a running back when he gets the football, and he plays big when he on the outside. That's someone that you could put in line near the blocking of the tight ends to block and get some run game going, but also be a big guy that can be a reliable possession receiver and add some little bit of yak ability. I can't remember who else was on the board, but I think it all depends on free agency, but I see Josh Cameron as someone that could be a wide receiver 3 or 4 in the replacement of a Noah Brown.
All right, Andre Fuller, DT, cornerback.
Yeah, Andre Fuller. So this was one of the guys that we currently met during one of the All-Star games. It's something about Toledo, something in the water. Toledo, dog. They just producing dudes. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Play very aggressive. Can play man coverage. Can play zone coverage. Somebody on the back end. I just think we just need depth in that position. We had a lot of guys injured with Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore, and who's to say we'll get in free agency. But this is a guy that can be a backup in case a Trey Amos get nicked up or whoever the starting corner outside get nicked up. But I like his game. I actually went back and watched him with the safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren. That secondary, the way they run their defense in Toledo is absolutely insane. And he's a guy that could be a great benefit for Durante Jones, because Durante don't necessarily need, I mean, the way they coach it, they don't necessarily need a all-star corner. It'll be great. But the way they coach their defensive backs, I think he'll be great to have a guy that understands what he's supposed to do with leverages and coverages and stuff like that. I think Andre Fuller would be a great depth draft pick.
Yeah, hey, I can't add nothing to it, man. Toledo, they like, even with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, like, we just saw Quignon, you know what I mean, 2 years ago. So it's something in the water in Toledo. Yeah, Darius Robinson. Yeah, it's something in the water in Toledo, man. And I'm drinking that Kool-Aid right now. So run that card up. That's what, 5th round? Like that's good depth, man. So yeah, go ahead. Like, DT said it all.
All right, what you think about their next two, Kyle?
I like the mindset behind them. Just adding depth to those rooms. I love the blocking ability from Josh Cameron, being at 6'1". I know PFF has him ranked at 214th overall. Rated him 225th out of 1,072 wide receivers. A redshirt senior. So very intrigued to be able to see what he provides overall. But I do wonder where they're going to allocate those assets. Are they going to do it in free agency, or are they going to save it for the draft? And what's going to go on with tight end? And that's where I want to kind of pick your guys' brains a little bit. And I also see no linebackers here, which is another position that is plentiful in this draft. So I'm not going to go against the Josh Cameron. We need more depth at wide receiver. You could just look at our depth chart. But with Andre Fuller, Toledo is not a bad place to be picking talent from. Especially given I would like to see how he does in zone coverage. I think that's something that Durante Jones is going to be doing a lot of with that match coverage, and hopefully that's what Andre Fuller can help you provide with.
And I also see, like, depending on like that match coverage that he's going to decide to run, is how he used Mikey.
It fits Mikey. It fits Mikey to a T.
Yeah, I think he'll flourish in that. Because a lot of the plays that he make are kind of in zone. Those big plays that he make.
It's when he's using his eyes and he's reading the quarterback and jumping things. If you go back to the Detroit Lions interception he had in the end zone on Jameson Williams, he baited it and he watched it, he baited it and jumped it. And that's where Mikey's really at his best, not playing slot where he has to dictate, he has to react instead of doing it on his own.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna let y'all finish it. I do gotta jump off.
Okay.
Right fast. Yeah, I'm good. Future Sundays, but I got something to do right now. So
no problem.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good one. Prayers up to the 3 Redskin, you know what I mean, legends that we lost within the last, week or so. You know what I mean? So I just want to put my prayers out to their family. Hey man, love y'all, man. We're gonna continue to do this. We're gonna get this team together, man, along with AP, along with DQ. It starts with us, bro. Let's put the positive vibes out there. So hey man, I see y'all. I'll catch y'all again, next Sunday and stuff like that. But I appreciate y'all.
All right, Smoke. All right, let's end it. DT, Pat Payton, Edge, and Pat Cougar is next. The last 2 picks.
Yeah, so this is probably the one pick I was kind of hesitating at first. I kind of just went with who was the best guy on the board based on traits. Now, Patrick Payton, he started his career at Florida State, 2023 year. I believe that was the year Florida State was on the verge of getting to the playoffs. Then they got hoed. He had a tremendous year. He was all ACC first team player. He had 7.5 sacks. He was very disruptive. But then he gets to LSU. Now, I don't know you watched some of the LSU tape so far from any of the defenders, Kyle, but out of all the players that's in this draft, he had by far probably the least amount of impact when it comes to these draftable LSU guys. I know some people look at stat, but I was just very curious. I thought I was expecting the 2023 Patrick Payton on that defensive line. Very curious to see what was the difference. I think he could be a guy, just for depth. He can play that stand up outside backer role. A guy, like with JPP, the injuries and stuff. There's nothing wrong with double dipping at edge, but that was probably the one pick I was a little hesitant on because I don't know. And, to be fair, it's late in the round, but I don't know what I'm getting out of him. But he has the talent. It's just all about consistency to me. And of course, Pat Coogan's right there. Like I had to snatch him up and have him in the death room for the center.
Yeah, getting Coogan there, that's the best value by far. He's ranked by PFF 168th overall. And that's value. In the very last pick that you have in this draft, you're going to get somebody that you can feel very confident with as a backup. And I'm all there for it. I think that was probably my personal favorite of this draft class so far that you guys did.
I didn't realize we had 21 different OC changes in NFL this year. That's insane.
For real?
Yes. Rams is the last one that didn't hire one yet. Once they had, it'd be 21.
They're probably higher in the house.
That's insane, man. Because a lot of these teams that got their head coach, you see, if you notice, the ones that got their head coaches the last couple ones, they're kind of seem like they're kind of scrambling a little bit. Like the Seahawks, the Browns, like they kind of scrambling trying to fill these roles, and they just whoever's left, right? But I guess that's the negative. All right, so this is mock 1.0, and we use Pro Football Network to do the draft. For some reason, like PFF didn't have the other second. They didn't have
the other seventh round pick.
The other seventh. They didn't have 208 for some reason on there. So I don't know what's that about.
PFN is better anyway. You don't have to sign up for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's pretty much it, man. That is mock draft 1.0. This is episode 1. We did kickers, we did quarterbacks, and we did centers. Looking at those guys to come in possibly late day 2, early day 3, into late day 3 to be able to add depth to the team. Next week, we're doing tight ends and running backs. Tight ends and running backs. Because it looks like we're going to be under center more. We're going to need a fullback, H-back-esque type player, and he's probably already on the team. So I think we're going to be looking for a passing tight end.
Dallin Bentley, man. Dallin Bentley.
Here we go. We already starting out. All right, Kyle, what you got in Kyle?
Tomorrow will be Burgundy Zone. We'll be coming out with an interview with Mitch Tischler from Monumental Sports Network, just kind of talking about the OC and DC changes, what to expect, and he's an offensive line kind of lover, myself included. So it's gonna be fun to be able to dive deep with him, be able to find out just a little bit more.
DT, what you got?
All right, this is going to be the start of the off season. We're going to be collaborating with content creators, trying to reach out to more people. This week, we're going to have Damian Bartonek. He's going to be joining us on Wednesday to discuss the off season and what to see for the draft and in free agency. So stay tuned Wednesday at 8:15.
Bartonek.
Yeah.
That's my boy, man. We interviewed him a couple years ago when he was still with I think it was Hogshaven, if I'm not mistaken. He's come a long way, man. Love that kid.
Yeah. But tomorrow we're back after a 3-week break for Riddle Radio, 8 a.m. with Unc and Smoke tomorrow morning. Radio Commanders Talk and all types of other stuff. We got some new shows starting this week. Arizona Lab is going to be back. We're going to have a midnight drop every day at midnight. We'll do news of the day. We're going to go take a deep dive into every single one of our coaches. I'm tired of getting blindsided by high school coaches and all that other stuff. So we're taking deep dives into our coaching staffs, and we're looking at their bag and what they have. We also going to be looking at college prospect every week, and why not is players that we should resign from our teams or we shouldn't, and also free agents that or trades that we should bring in and we shouldn't. So it's gonna be packed. It's gonna be up for the next few weeks. Like Smoke said, we're gonna get this team together, whether AP likes it or not. I don't know if he listens, but if he does, listening to this, do everything that we tell you because we've been hitting. We're batting at least like 79% over the last 3 years with these prospects. But we absolutely appreciate y'all for joining. We will be back next Sunday at 8:35. Tap in with us then. We appreciate your time. We know it's very valuable for you to spend it with us. We absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love. It's Commanders Draft Show. Peace.